What is happening, baseball fans, especially Met fans? Man, what a week it's been for our Mets. Unbelievable. We'll get into the week as a whole, but man, what a series that the Mets Mets become the second team that have to play a third game in the wild card with the new seedings, and we'll get into all that. But welcome in everybody. Let me come over and get the comments coming. What is happening? Daniel Berry is here. Saying good time, yes sir. Yo. LFGM. Let's go. Am I on the right page? No, I'm not. So maybe I don't have the comments coming in. Hold on. Oh, yes, I do. All right. I'll never forget that game. Elgood. Elgood says, I'll never forget that game. Elgood, are you finally wearing pants? All right. I don't like this. I'm going to have to change this, guys. Hold on one second. I don't like not being able to see the chat and doing something else at the same time. So let me change this real quick. We'll get into the recaps and everything, guys. Just give me a couple seconds here. A little prompt to stream here. All right, there we go. But where is my chat? Right here. All right, oh my goodness, a new setup. So that's why things aren't working right. Content. Let's see here. Playing an ad on my own commercial. Analytics. All right, there we go. Now we should be getting your chats in. All right, how we all feeling, everybody? Let me come back over here and add a layer over here. Sorry, guys. I should have set this up beforehand. Let's see if that worked. All right, there we go. Let's make it bigger so we can read it on screen. And slide it over there. Nope. Now we can't see Sony's comment. There we go. Perfect. Arby with the $5 super chat. Let's go. Love it. Closer back on today. Not sure what I'm going to do for tomorrow. All right. Thank you all so much for hanging out in the chat while I was finished setting this up. But man, let's get into it, right? The first thing I wanted to talk about, y'all remember back in 2015? It was after the season they did it, of course. That SNY or MLB network came out. I know SNY did the 5 days in Flushing. I believe MLB Network came out with the 2015 Mets, Tears of Joy. This week, Monday to Thursday, has to have some kind of documentary, docuseries, something, because this has been an unbelievable run. And I know I said wild card. We're gonna get into the wild card, but we got to start with Monday, because if Monday game one doesn't happen, this series doesn't happen. So unbelievable. We'll get into the first game against the Braves on Monday, and then we'll get into the weekend or the 3-game set against Milwaukee. But great stuff. RBO65, once again, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate that. All right, you guys just saying hi to each other. Rye guys here. Game was crazy. Yes, once again, a special shout out to guys like James last night, Elgood. They all kept it positive, even when the Mets were down. I'm trying to wrap my head around things, guys, getting you guys, kind of setting things up for the off season in my head. And unbelievable ninth inning there for our Mets. But let's get into it. Is crying about losing to the Mets. Cry harder. Join us next year. We're not going to need him, because after that home run, Alonso's getting a new contract. No doubt about it. Walk-off week. This whole season has been a roller coaster, and I'm enjoying the ride. Alonso and Diaz saved the Mets season. Yes, so let's get into it, guys. Let's start with Monday, right? We're already pissed off because we have to play a doubleheader on Monday, and it's going to screw up our rotation going into a series either against San Diego or Milwaukee, right? So we get the Braves on Monday, game one. And unfortunately, the Mets are looking like crap, right? I mean, we're not. The Mets don't do anything for the first 10. Yeah, Bruce Kodai tomorrow. Oh my, let's go. The Mets don't do anything for the first 7 innings, but Atlanta gets a couple runs here. They get a couple runs in the third. Let's see how they got those runs. Harris singled, and then Albies hit a 2-run shot to make it 2-0. Zuna lined out, and McGill was the pitcher at the time. Zuna lined out. Olsen singled. Soler flied out to center. So there were 2 out with a runner on first, right? Laureano singled. Oh, they only got to 2 that inning. Okay. Hey, Charles is here. What's happening? So I'm going to give those awful Phillies the fits tomorrow. Let's go. The Mets deserve a documentary. Exactly. Hit that like button and subscribe. An avoidable doubleheader on Monday. Should have been on Sunday. Well, you couldn't. They were playing in Milwaukee on Sunday. They weren't doing it. Let's go Mets. Still can't believe what happened. Unbelievable, Fitzy. Fitzy, if you want to hop in with me here, let me know. Oh, you know how to hop in. I can just let you join in if you want to hop in. Talk a little baseball, bud. But yeah, let's go. Then what happened after that? We go to the bottom of the 6th. It's already 2-0 Atlanta. Yo, Weed is back. What's up, Weed? Congrats, New York Mets, moving onward to the next round. All right, bottom of the 6th here. Atlanta gets another run on the Laureano solo shot, making it 3-0. And at this point, guys, I'm doing the broadcast, and I'm thinking, you know what? We got to. I'm mentally, once again, I'm trying to get my head going into game 2. All right, Atlanta's going to take the first game. We're just not hitting. It's all right. We got game 2. Hopefully they lay down, and we get in either way. But then, what inning was it? It was the 8th inning. Unbelievable 8th inning. Highs and lows, right? I mean, it's already bad enough we're losing 3-0. But let's get into it and see what happens, right? Fitzy says I'm actually in a restaurant eating some shrimp. Maybe next time. The Ocean called, said they're running out of you. This is powerful indeed. Oh, you meant Thursday? No worries. I remember Fitzy was covering the game and he sounded so sad. If only we knew, right? NFL style Steve Sable documentary, Magical Met Year. I'm really glad Fitzy helped you out, John. Thanks, Fitzy, once again. Yeah, I do owe Fitzy big time. What's up, Gary D? But then that's when the Mets' eighth inning happens on Monday against Atlanta, right? Taylor leads off with a double. Um, Alvarez doubles, back-to-back doubles to start the inning, making it 3-1. Then Marte hits for Bader. He singled. So first and third for the Mets. Lindor comes up. He singles. Alvarez scores to make it 3-2. Marte to second. Another pitching change. We get Iglesias. Because all the Mets was against Jimenez. So Iglesias comes in, gives up a single. Marte scores. So we're tied up at 3. Then Vientos hits a sac fly as Lindor goes to third on the single by Iglesias. Vientos hits the sac fly to make it 4-3. And then it's still a runner on first with 1 out. 2 out. No, 1 out. 1 out. So then Nimmo homers. The Nimmo home run gets lost in that game. Because that at the time made it 6-3. Right? And so much more happened after that that we kind of gets lost in the shuffle, right? But man, after Nimmo hits that home run to make it 6-3, I'm like, all right, we don't have to worry about game 2 now. We can bench Severino. We can leave him for Tuesday. Then to finish up the inning, Alonso struck out, Martinez walked, and Taylor flied out to right. So the Mets bat around, actually sent 10 men to the plate and get 6 runs. But then the bottom of the 8th inning happens, and once again, the wheels come tumbling off. A couple defensive substitutions, which I'm not sure I liked. Iglesias goes to third. Alvarez went to second. Acuna is in at designated hitter now. Taylor's in center, and Marte's in right. And the Mets bring in Maton the pitch. Let me catch back up to the chat. The jerk star. Mets fans are taking over Philly tomorrow and Sunday. Oh, Mets and our fans. Anthony, thank you. This upcoming series with the Mets Phillies is going to be fun to watch. Let's go, Mets. What's up, Darren? This team has come a long way under Stearns and Mendoza. We rock 2 good closers, Devin Williams and Rosell Iglesias. Yep. What do you think of the Mets rotation for the Philly series? Gary, we'll get into that. Let me finish wrapping up these 4 games here. I love our chance in any series against any team. So here we go. Mets with a 6-3 lead. Bottom of the 8th inning in Atlanta. Maton on the mound. White gets hit by a pitch. Laureano flies out, so runner on first with 1 out. D'Arnaud singles. White goes to third. Edwin Diaz is brought in. Diaz gives up a ground ball to back to the pitcher. D'Arnaud goes to second. So there's 2 outs and nothing happening yet. There's 2 outs, and the Mets have not given up a run yet. But there's runners on second and third. Then we get another chopper. Kelenic reached on an infield single. White scored. D'Arnaud goes to third. So it's now 6-4. Merrifield comes in to pinch run for Kelenic, steals second base, so second and third again. Then Harris is walked. I think it doesn't say it here, but if I remember, I think the Mets kind of pitched around him to load the bases, and that brought up Ozzie Albies. And Albies hits one at that. At first, I thought was going out, but it goes over Nimmo's head in the left and clears the bases. And Atlanta right back in front. The Mets in the top of the inning score 6. Atlanta comes right back and scores 4 to take the lead 7-6. Ozuna strikes out to end the inning. And we're back to thinking again, guys. Top of the 9th. We got to win game 2. At least that's what I'm thinking. Let me know what you guys are thinking on Monday. Game 1. I know a lot of you were here hanging out in the chat. Water says he believes in Senga. Let's go. I wish I could make that bigger so I could see it. Oh, wait, I know how to do that. Here, hold on. There we go. There we go. Okay, good. Let me see, make sure it fits. Perfect. Let's change it one more time. Uh-oh. Now I don't know where it went. Oh, it's way up here. Let's move it in the center so I can see it. No, we don't need that. Let's go there. All right, there we go, guys. Stoney says, yeah, I was thinking we had to win game 2 also. Game 1 was not only important for getting us in, it helped give us the kind of confidence we're still riding. Yeah, so let's look. Let's look to see what happens in that ninth inning. Elgood says, I was nervous when they fell behind game 1 against the Braves, but knew it wasn't over. Well, I wasn't sure because they had, I think it was 8-9-1 coming up, right? 8-9-1, I believe. Yep, 8-9-1 coming up. Alvarez popped out the third to lead off the inning. Then Marte came in. Marte singled to left. And then Francisco Lindor, the Mets MVP, possibly the National League MVP. Going to be tough for him to win it. Absolutely crushes a ball to center field, giving the Mets an 8-7 lead. Now, watching the game and doing the play-by-play, I'm watching Harris go back, and half the time he's so nonchalant that you can't rule him out of making a catch. So I'm watching as he's going back. I'm like, oh, he's going to make this catch right at the track. And the ball just kept traveling and traveling and traveling until it goes out, and the Mets go back up in front, 8-7. Iglesias grounded out, and then Eddie Alvarez struck out to finish off the top of the ninth. Then Edwin Diaz comes back out for the bottom of the ninth. Diaz says, "Man, I wasn't letting this guy take me out." I was thinking Pete would probably hit into a double play or strike out. We'll get into that game. Diaz pitching for the Mets still. Olsen popped out the short. Then White singled. Like, oh, here we go. Laureano struck out swinging. Oh, but White's still second, so the runner in scoring position. Laureano strikes out for 2 outs, and then comes up former Met Travis d'Arnaud. Honest question, guys. How many people thought d'Arnaud was either tying the game or winning the game for Atlanta in game 1? But he ends up grounding out to short. The Mets win game 1. Not only, I do feel like the Mets, if they would have lost game 1, I do believe the Mets would have won game 2. Unfortunately, it would have been Severino pitching. So that would have screwed up the Milwaukee series. But the Mets still would have gotten in, still would have been the same matchup. But just the emotional lift of doing it against the Atlanta Braves, a team that has killed you since the 90s. Just unbelievable. There's still no words to think. And Howie wrote, I don't know if you guys are on X or Twitter or whatever they're calling it now. If you have not heard Howie Rose's call of the Lindor home run, now everybody's saying last night's home run was a better call. No, I'm sorry. Howie Rose's Lindor home run is still the better call, even though the Alonso home run might be a bigger home run. But unbelievable. The press, please change your name. It's a downer. I'm so proud of the Mets team. Onward to Philly. Let's go, Stanley. Todd Licata. I thought Travis would at least hit the ball hard. I thought d'Arnaud was going to walk us off again. Yep, okay. You guys always scares me. All right, love it. Exactly. Winning game one set up a series of circumstances that have helped us get this far. Absolutely, Cope. So then, I mean, the Mets. I mean, if you guys remember, I don't remember how many people were hanging out here in the second game. I'm sitting here eating pizza, drinking my celebratory beverage, not really paying any attention to the game. I didn't. I do a score sheet every game. I didn't even do a score sheet. So unbelievable stuff there for game two. Just how easy it was with no stress, no worry if they won or lost the game. Now it would have been nice. It would have been nice to beat Atlanta and knock them completely out. But maybe they did that on purpose because they knew they couldn't go to San. What do you guys think? Do you think the Mets knew they weren't going to be able to go to San Diego and beat them? I saw Howie on the team playing. Yeah, remember Darno kept fouling off pitches against Bassett 2 years ago, and he couldn't get out of the inning. Yep. Yes, I was here, John, because I asked what kind of beer you were drinking. So unbelievable. So game two didn't really matter there for the Mets. So that brought us to game one in Milwaukee. You thought they had a better chance against who? Milwaukee or the Padres? Cope says Padres scare me more than any other team. They just have our number. Not this year though, Cope. The Mets won the season series against the Padres this year. I believe 4-2, right? And that's why the Mets got in over Arizona, guys. The Mets had the tiebreaker with Arizona. Right? I think if Arizona doesn't blow that game against Milwaukee, where they were leading 8-0, I believe the Mets are sitting at home. No, I don't think they did it on purpose, but it worked out well for them. I thought he would kill the Mets like he does. Lindor didn't play game two, right? No, a lot of people didn't play game two. Stoney says he wished we played the Padres. I always base a team playing in postseason based on how they played in the regular season. Yes, I saw the Howie video on the plane. Very heartwarming. What's funny is he's covering his ears. If you guys, I don't know how you guys feel about yourselves, but I hate the sound of my voice on recorded voice. What I hear when I listen to, like, if I go back and listen to a stream, like, is that really what I talk like? Is that what I sound like? That's not what I'm hearing. No, Eric wanted to play Milwaukee. Four-dimension chess is not beyond this brain trust. When the Mets played the Padres in 2022, I instantly knew they were going to lose because they lost the season series. I believe the Mets were more confident that they could win in Milwaukee than they did the Padres, in part because of the extra travel time. There you go. This year we win 5-2. I was worried playing the Brewers because we were 5-1 against them in the regular season. I thought if they played an uncompetitive, it might hurt their momentum. We have beaten in the Phillies in the regular season. Yeah, they played 13 times. With the Phillies winning 7 out of the 13. So the Mets won 6. So, including 3 out of the last 4 in the city. And who do we got? We got Fox doing the coverage for the Mets and Phillies. I want to go back to Milwaukee. You wanted to go back to Milwaukee. And how fitting is it, right? I mean, we get Stearns, their former general manager or player of baseball or president of baseball operations, right? And he comes in his first year. He's got the Mets going into Milwaukee, beating them. I thought Milwaukee was going to play better because we were 1-5 against them this year, and 5-2 against the Padres. I think so. Travel to San Diego is rough. Having problems hitting Darvish and Musgrove. I think we're 7-2 against the Padres. No, we didn't play 9 games against them. It was only 2 series. Yeah, I think Musgrove's hurt, right? The only bad thing about last night was knowing Pete's agent Boris was also popping champagne. I don't care. I don't care. I said it last night, guys. When Alonso, we'll go wherever the chat takes us. Let's go. Whatever you guys want to talk about here. Any of the games against Milwaukee, any of the games coming up against Philadelphia. Let's go. So I figured I wanted to do this. Mrs. PAS is still not home. She'll be home sometime tonight. She texted me. She was stopping for some dinner about a couple hours away. So I figured, you know what? Instead of sitting here watching TV, let's be productive and hang out with the adrenaline junkies, right? So good stuff. Keith and Ronnie should guest star on the broadcast. And Mike. Mike who? I would love. Could you imagine if I can get an athlete to come on? I was gonna text. I am friends with. I don't know if you guys, since we're all New York fans here, most of us anyway. You could probably guys don't listen to any other ESPN radio outside of New York, maybe. But I'm friends with Mo Egger, one of the hosts with ESPN 1530 in Cincinnati. I didn't text him yet. They hired Terry Francona. I wonder what he was thinking of that. They started off the season horrible against the Brewers, who initiated that horrible stretch. Ironically, we ended their season. Very nice, right, guy? Yes. And that's another thing. I mean, I don't know if somebody put it in his ear, but Gary Cohen, with the from 0-5 to OMG line, just classic stuff. It's been a rough season for Pete for sure, but I'm not ready to part ways with him. No, I was, guys. Yesterday, I was. That's where I was going. I was ready for Alonso to be off of this team. You guys were here. I know a lot of you guys were trying to keep me calm, but yeah, Alonso before that home run, 0 for 3 in the game. Fly ball to center in the first. There were already 2 outs. You really can't. You know, he fouls out to third base, and then he strikes out to start the 7th inning. But then he comes up, and my thought is going to the 9th when we're down 2-0. I'm thinking, I said, this is gonna. I'm thinking mentally, this is gonna come down to Alonso, and it's either gonna end well or not. But at that point, guys, I wanted him off the team. And if you guys remember last night after he hit that home run, I said give him his contract. He just earned his Met contract, whatever it is. Was I worried? I was worried going into game 3, Stoney. Like a lot of you guys know, I didn't get to do game 2. Fitzy did it for us. I had the refrigerator issue. So I really didn't get to see it. I got to see highlights. I caught the end of Rob and CP's post game stuff. So I really didn't see it. So I didn't have the frustration of game 2 loss. I know we were winning 3-1. Well, it was 3-1, right? And then we lost 5-3. So unbelievable. I was frustrated knowing that yesterday could have been the last day. Hey, Before is here. What's up, Before? Before, forgive me. For some reason, I think you're a Brewers fan. Is that true? He says, congrats, John, to your success. Your channel is doing great. I saw 600 people on your live stream. Yeah, some live streams we have 300, some 600. So it'll be interesting to see. I know play-by-play with JJ's not doing the game 1 tomorrow. I think he said he's trying to get somebody to fill in for him, but man, I think he's calling a college hockey game. I could be wrong on that though. Cope says so. So was I, and I'm eating every one of my words and sentiments about Pete. He could do no wrong on my eyes from here on in. Exactly. Gary says this feels like the '86 team to me. Everyone watched for a black hat and a shadowy figure in the tunnel to the dugout. Would like to see you interview Gary Cohen and Howie Rose. Wow. Howie, I think even though I love Gary Cohen, don't get me wrong, Howie's had a bigger impression on my life as far as announcing goes. When I moved out here to Pennsylvania back in the early '90s, of course, living single, no money, not a good paying job, living in a tiny apartment. I had a little radio, no TV, and I could pick up baseball games. I could pick up some on the radio. I could pick up some hockey games. So I used to listen to Howie Rose on the radio, call Rangers, even though I'm a Flyers fan. It was just great to listen to some sports. It was great hearing Howie call some hockey games. So, and I know Gary was on the radio at one time too, but I wasn't able to get Met games out here on the radio for some reason. It was weird. I could get Yankee games out here. So back then it was John Sterling and Michael Kay. Now Michael Kay's doing TV. And Sterling, I believe Sterling retired at the beginning of the year, right? Charles says the New York Mets are very focused and very disciplined in the wild card round moving forward. As I mentioned in last night's chat, Game 6, 86, made me a never give up fan. Gotcha. The momentum shifted after that horrible Game 2 loss. When I saw the lineup for the ninth, my heart raced for a second, just hoping Pete would get another at bat before the inning played. I thought it was over for sure. Elgood says Pete's home run last night is my all-time favorite Met moment. Where does that home run rank for you, John? Um, right now, to me personally, it does not beat the Lindor home run. So for me, right now, it's third. With the Alonso home run in the first game back in New York after 9/11, that's number one. That'll always be number one to me. Growing up in Jersey, I absolutely loved going to New York City. Now, a little different because I'm not from I wasn't originally from the city, so. But being a Jersey guy, I absolutely loved going to New York City any chance I got. So that was a horrible day for for a ton of people lost their lives and families were changed definitely. But in terms of sports, in terms of trying to get back to normal, right? I mean that Piazza home run once again against the Braves, right? I mean a big moment, lots of big moments against the Braves, and especially the Lindor home run. That's number two for me. And now Pete's home run, it just completely changed it. That like Gary said above about 86 in Game 6 being the comeback that made him a never give up fan. That Pete Alonso home run might be the never give up on the Mets moment for me. JJ is working for Villanova ice hockey. Okay, thank you. I knew it was a college team. Uh, but yeah, he's actually working for the university, right? Darren says I don't get caught up in regular season records against opponents because in '88 the Mets were 10-1 against the Dodgers and lost in 7. True. Oh, good says I grew up listening to Howie on the radio. Brings back a lot of memories because I listened to a lot of those games with my dad. Exactly, Darren was absolutely dominated the Dodgers in '88 and got our butts handed to us. And who did they play in '88? They beat Oakland in the World Series, right? That was the Gibson year. Back in the early '80s, Howie had a hot stove radio broadcast every January 1st. He started the baseball season. Huh. When we had a base runner, I thought Pete may get to the plate. Then the next runner got on. No, nope, not last night. Viento struck out. After Lindor walked last night, Viento struck out. I grew up with Bob Murphy, then transitioned into Gary Cohen, and now Howie. You've been lucky. We've been lucky as Met fans. Absolutely. Victor says in 111 games played, Vientos had 27 homers and 71 runs batted in. If he played maybe 25 to 30 more games, he would have surpassed Alonso's number possibly. Even Nimmo had 2 more regular season RBIs than Pete. Right. But Pete, we know what he's capable of. Was it a down year for Pete? Yes, and he still hit 34 home runs and 88 runs batted in. Right, Lulu. I know Lulu. Lulu, I don't usually see you hanging out here, so welcome in. If you have been here before and I haven't noticed, sorry about that. I know you do. I believe you hang out on CP or Rob's channel, one of them. But welcome in. Hey, Axe is here. Braves? Braves who? Let's go. I still don't like this. I still don't like this. I gotta make this bigger or something. Frame width. There we go. Now frame height. Now, oh, there we go. Perfect. There we go. Perfect. I used to listen to all the New York Mets games on WFAN radio from Staten Island on the AM radio frequency. Oh, Sterling is back on the radio until the end of the season? Okay, thank you for that, John. I remember Sterling. Do you guys remember Sterling when he was the Atlanta Braves announcer? I remember that. Yep, okay, so that's not going to work. So that's why you test this. Whoa. Okay, there we go. That's perfect. Signal used to come over very clear in the Bahamas. Elgood says that Piazza home run was incredible. I was in college when 9/11 happened, and it was such a tragic day. I remember I dropped Mrs. PA also. At the time, I was out of work. I had gotten laid off. I had dropped Mrs. PAS off at work, and I was heading to my parents' house in Jersey uh, to help with some stuff around the house just to make a little money. You know what I mean? And I get in the car, and where I lived here in Eastern PA, I would get, I believe it was WFAN still at the time. I would get Imus in the morning. And I remember Imus talking about Imus having somebody on talking about a plane hit the World Trade Center. And I'm like, no way. And then by the time I got to my parents' house, you could just see where they lived in Jersey. You could just see the top, maybe 10 floors or so of the World Trade Center. So it was unbelievable. Yes, they beat the A's. Thank you. One of my best stories is I was responsible for getting Mike Piazza's first contract with the Mets. You were responsible for. Well, were you part of the trade or what? Because I remember Mike and the Mad Dog were trying to get the trade worked out and kind of not force the Mets to do the trade, but how do you feel about Senga pitching? I love it. I love it. I don't know how far he's going to be able to go, but I love it. I think it'll be another confidence boost to this team. Pratt and Ventura's homers were huge for me. Probably my favorites. Also, Agbayani's walk-off in 2000. I'm trying to remember. I remember Ventura was a Grand Slam single. I'm trying to remember the Pratt. Was the Pratt one against Arizona? When the Arizona center fielder mistimed the jump or something? Elkins says that Alonso home run is a where were you moment, and I was watching the game in only my boxers and listening to PAS. John Kay says Sterling called that crazy July 4th game in '85 between the Mets and Braves that lasted until 4 a.m. Wow. Yeah, FAN used to do it. I still listen to FAN. Well, not really. I follow their YouTube channel and just watch their clips. I really don't listen to the station anymore. Charles says I was in my government office. It was unbelievable, unthinkable. Richard Todd says he's excited to see Senga on the mound. Rick Z says, I had my little chihuahua on my lap when Lindor was on third and Nimmo on first. When I saw Alonso talking to his coaches, I put it down. I felt something was about to happen, and then I went crazy. I was at a party with Mr. Doubleday, who had worked for, and Fred Wolfon was refusing to pay Mike. Oh, let's go, Mets. Let's enjoy the moment, guys. Let's go. Pratt was against Arizona. Buck Showalter was manager of the Diamondbacks. Yes, John against the D-backs. Finley missed the ball. Okay. I think he just mistimed his jump. Kind of like Frelick did last night. Not to say Frelick would have caught the ball. Not to say Finley would have caught the ball either. But um, if you guys noticed, Frelick mistimed the jump. Mistimed his jump. I remember being pissed off. Yeah, I was mad too. I was mad that they didn't run at the bases, right? Still can't believe the 86 team won 108 games. I was talking to a friend today, texting him back and forth. 86 team is what. I'll get back to that more of that friend. So I'm taking college courses. Oh no, we'll get back to this. The 86 team is what made me a sports fan. Nobody in my family had ever watched sports. We didn't know much about sports. So yeah, that 86 team, I absolutely fell in love with sports, especially baseball. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people say baseball is boring. No, it's not boring. There are so many intricate details during a baseball game that you have to pay attention to. What's up, Jay? Axe says ESPN had a stat on the other night that said the last few World Series winners had to go through Milwaukee first. Maybe it's a sign for us. Yes. Well, ESPN had that. SNY had it too. I retweeted it, gave SNY credit for putting it up. Hopefully, Senga pitching Saturday catches the Phillies off guard. Do you know if Senga is on a pitch limit? I would think so, El Good, but I don't think it's going to be a low pitch count. I think it's going to be maybe about 65, 75 pitches, somewhere in that area. If he is on a pitch count, he might not even be. He's been throwing. I know he had that setback, which why he couldn't come back in the regular season. But yeah, he's still been throwing, even though minor leagues are over. Yes, Arizona was the Pratt homer. If Senga can be good for us, it's such a ridiculous, huge boost. It may help us get over the hump. This is true. It says that Kodai Senga tells the manager how he feels after each inning. When he's had enough, he'll tell Mendoza, let's go. I remember that 4th of July game that lasted till 4 a.m. Watched it on WOR. Oh, yeah. Remember that was Channel 9 out of New York, right? Mets took the lead, and that darn pitcher, Rick Camp, hit that home run to tie the game. After the game, still shot fireworks. Oh, holy crap. Jonathan, great to see you. Evening, John. I'm still recovering from watching the greatest game ever. I'm only sad that I missed it on your channel. Well, don't be too sad, guys. Like I said, I got to try to remember that I'm here for you guys. And just because I'm disappointed doesn't mean I shouldn't be giving my best effort. I'm trying to wrap things up yesterday thinking this is it. We're not going to see each other. Hopefully, you guys all come back in spring when the games start back up. And then, yeah, the ninth inning happens. I mean, Lindor walks, great at bat, great call in the check swing. What's up, CP? CP, how are you tonight? I know you got stuff going on, but would you be available to hop in for a couple minutes or no? Gary says, and the '86 team was the hardest partying on your team in years. There was so much stuff going on, but they beat everyone. Also, love how a lot of our guys are getting valued playoff experience and learning how to win, especially in the playoffs. Senga tomorrow certainly will be interesting. If he can give us 5 solid innings, I would be happy. If he gives us a 6, I'm taking my pants off. They still did the fireworks at 4 a.m. and Atlanta residents were not happy. I was watching you and the TV broadcast. You were ahead by about 7 seconds. It was a hoot. 86 team may have had the most celebration drugs in their system, if you know what I mean. Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, well, absolutely, Jonathan. And I said that before. I do. I think you have to give him a contract now. And I even told CP, even CP's chat, I've never been happier to be wrong about a player. Alonso went from being my favorite Met to couldn't wait. I could not wait till he was off this team. You guys heard me during the game yesterday, especially after he dropped that foul ball. I'm like, get this guy off my team. Got some people over, so I can't, unfortunately. Just wanted to show some love and hit that thumbs up on the stream. I got you next time, though. Just DM me. All right, sounds good, CP. What did I say about the playoff light also, John? That light was unbelievable, right? The 69 team is the one I'm most proud of. They had no business winning that series. Let's keep this going here. There we go. That 86 team brings a lot of fond memories for me with all the comebacks and fights. The Strawberry and Knight and the hustle of Dykstra, Backman, and Mookie. CP says, hey everyone, love this energy. This is such a great time for all of us. Let's go. Lindor is the MVP of this team. I don't know when they did the voting for the MVP, but if it's not close, not to say he's going to win, I think it's got to be close. I mean, Ohtani doesn't play the field. That's got to be factored in. Rosie Red 60th anniversary celebration. I don't know. I didn't understand that. I don't know. Do you guys watch the Rico Bronya podcast? They were talking about that last night, and I didn't understand the pumpkin thing. Yes, we did. Yep, we saw the Howie Rhodes video. The hand in the medicine jar cut the season short. It's voted on the regular season only. Yeah, writers do. Yep. Sorry, guys. Got a nice old farm tractor. Cool. I don't care about betting. Actually, I don't look at the 69 Mets as a miracle team. They had a great pitching and defense in August and September. They played great down the stretch and won 100 games. Pete said he was seeing a pumpkin. He called it a playoff pumpkin. The rest is interwebs. It's hard to believe we've never met the Phils in the post. Yeah, right? Look how many times we played the Braves. I think the writers' voting is actually good for Lindor's MVP odds. Those writers are a funny bunch, and DH has never won the MVP. And I'm sorry. I know he had a 50-50 year, which is awesome. I mean, it's unbelievable history. But let's not act like. I mean, Ohtani did 40-60 last year, so come on. Why playing every day in the outfield? Acuna did 40-60. City Field is going to be bonkers. It was bonkers last night. Could you? That was a great thing the Mets did. I think all the money went to charity. DH seems like such a part-time gig. That's all it is. But I'll tell you what, I would take a DH right now that would hit 50 home runs and steal 50 bags. Brian, what's up, Brian? Welcome in. So yeah, guys, since the chat, I've called back up to the chat. Let's look. I mean, game one against Milwaukee, we have Severino on the mound, but Milwaukee gets two in the first right away. You're thinking, oh man, the Mets are tired. The Mets are worn out. Partied too much in Atlanta, but then the Mets come right back in the second, get the 3 runs there. A couple innings later, Milwaukee goes back up in front 4-3, but then the Mets fifth inning there that night. Let's look to see what happened in that fifth inning. The Mets fifth. They pulled their pitcher. They brought Payams in. Marte flied out to left. Taylor doubled. Once again, Taylor in the middle of everything. Alvarez flied out. So a runner on second and 2 outs. Lindor walks. Iglesias reached on that infield single to first. Yo, not only does Iglesias dive headfirst in the first base, but Taylor comes around from second and scores on that play. Then they make a pitching change. Ashby comes in. Nimmo reached on an infield single to shortstop, and that loaded the bases for Vientos. Vientos singled to right. This inning, Mets players going to the opposite field. Vientos singled to right, scored Iglesias and Lindor. Alonso was intentionally walked. Vientos actually went to second on a wild pitch. Alonso was intentionally walked. Then Martinez comes in and singled to right as well, going the other way. Nimmo and Vientos scored, making it 8-4, and that was it. Marte walked and Taylor lined out. But then the Mets between Severino and the pen retired 17 straight Brewers to win Game 1. It's the new playoff pumpkin, Alonso explained. When asked if that was all there was to the story, Alonso reiterated, "This was the playoff pumpkin. What more explanation could you need?" Doesn't make any sense to me. We also got to remember Pete absolutely raked at Citizens Bank Park, and a lot of Mets do actually. And all the pressure, I don't care. Alonso might go 0 for 12 in the series or whatever, but there's no pressure on him anymore. From coming up to that plate, knowing that it could possibly be the last out of the year, possibly the last time he puts on a Met uniform, and he absolutely drills a shot the opposite field for a 3-run bomb. Elgood says, regardless of what happens, this is my favorite Met season since I've been alive. I was 4 in '86, but don't really remember it. The Mets would not be where they are without Lindor. The Dodgers would probably be at least a wild card team without Ohtani. I feel the same way. That is Pete's quote. Okay. Bruce says that head first slide in the first with a run scoring from second was grit. Darren says Davey Johnson used to do some unconventional moves like games he had McDowell and Orozco alternating between pitching and playing right field. Carter playing third and having Mitchell and Hojo play shortstop. Really? I'm still waiting on my 2024 Mets playoff hat. I'm hoping it gets here before we get to the World Series, or at best during the NLDS. I'm still waiting on my. Oh, I already did that one. Pete has a get out of jail card because without his home run, the Mets would not be playing. Honestly, he's going to get a monster contract if he shows out for the rest of the playoffs. Victor says, interesting fact, in 1979. Man, where did that hour go? Holy crap. Interesting fact, in 1979, Pirates Willie Stargell and Cardinals Keith Hernandez shared the MVP award. Would baseball do that today? Ooh. Very interesting. Or the polar bear might go 8 for 16 and crush 5 bombs against the Phillies and put his team on his back. The ups and downs for Alonso, even in the past couple of days, is unreal. Tripping over his bat, dropping a foul ball, and saving his team's season, right? Davey Johnson was a big fan of using statistic and an early user of sabermetrics. Huh. Mets are statistically due to rain home runs this weekend. We won this past series in much the same way we were to beat them, the Royals, in 15. Senga is pitching Saturday. Yes, Josh. Senga is pitching Saturday. We'll be live for that. I will be live at 4 o'clock, guys. Tomorrow. That's tomorrow. I remember after he dropped that ball yesterday, we were all pretty much done for. Pete, crazy how baseball works. Right? Your Met stuff better be in a warehouse now because ships may not get unloaded for a while. No, that stuff is made down in it used to be in Bangor, Pennsylvania. I think it's down in Allentown now. Their main warehouse where that stuff gets printed for playoff stuff is down in Allentown, Pennsylvania, I believe. It's official. Rinker's an animal. Gets hit twice in the game and answers is the helmet slam, right? And that's a big run too. We didn't talk about that, right? I mean, not only do the Mets take the lead, but they get the insurance run. Usually, a home run kills rallies, right? Winker gets hit by the pitch, steals second, takes a little timeout. I don't know if it's just a little gamesmanship or if he was actually injured or what was going on. But then he scores on that base hit by Marte. 86 was the best, but I also loved the 99 team. I watched Game 6 of the 86 series today. Pumped. No, I didn't put it in the trash. I just didn't wear it. I got my Alonso. Any Met T-shirt I have, Alonso's name is on the back. No, that's not true. That's not true. I do have 2 other T-shirts. One's a Johan Santana one, and one's a Syndergaard one. But I haven't worn those in a while. Winker's emotion on that insurance run was great. Guy got booed all night. Love it, right? Don't we? As a Met fan, I absolutely love it having a guy that another team and another fan base absolutely hates. I love it. I still have PTSD from that freaking guy. Oh, hold on 1 second, guys. I'll be right back, guys. All right. Sorry about that, everybody. Mrs. PAS is home. I asked her if she wanted to come on. She said no. She's still going with the John Cena, you can't see me. All right, let me catch back up to the chat. We'll wrap up here in a couple minutes, guys. Once again, thank you all so much. This was unplanned. So thank you, everybody, for hopping in. Winker is crazy. Oh, Winker is a crazy, but he is our crazy, right? Hitting the Google archive for Mets amazing moments. This one ranks up there. Yes, it does. Bringing Diaz in the seventh was a move that paid off. Yeah, but once again, also last night when that happens, what do we say? I mean, who's closing the game, right? I mean, we're like, well, then they're bringing Peterson in. And we're like, yeah, but it worked out. He said, Cope says, I think Winker got hurt when he stole second. He went to the locker as soon as he got in the dugout. Oh, did he? Wonder if Winker is clear to play now. What do you mean? Glad to see Winker steal since it has been part of his game since trade. With John gone, we're planning a party at City tomorrow to show John how much we love him. There will be snacks. Sweet hair. Yeah. Now with Senga back, it just added a new wrinkle to our pitching staff. We truly have a nice rotation going into the NLDS and flexibility. I did not see the postseason roster. Let's see if we go to Mets.com. Oh, I don't want to do that because it might play videos. I don't want to get a copyright strike. Did the Mets announce their roster? Oh, this will be good. No, see? Okay, I have it blocked right now. That's good. Good. So they could not see it. Oh, I can't do this. See, they play too many videos. I can't show that kind of stuff. I get a copyright strike, and then I lose money. I've been tough on Pete, but only in the sense that I think he's better suited for the 5-hole. Glad he was in the 4 last night, though. Absolutely. Could you imagine? I was even calling for Alonso to bat deeper, 7th, 8th in the lineup. No, I think there's bad blood. Because didn't Winker used to play for them? I think Winker was a Brewer, wasn't he? Bruce says, I'm there in spirit, but my arse is in New Mexico. Daniel Barry's here. He played a year there. Yep. Oh, yeah, Severino. I believe Severino's going game 2. Here it is. Yeah, Severino will go game 2 on Sunday against Christopher Sanchez. Why would you listen to Mike Francesa? He's a Yankee fan. Why would you care what Francesa has to say about the Mets? Yep, second game starter. Hearing rumblings, McNeil could be available for the LCS. Whoa. Yep, Sevy's slated to pitch game 2. Winker is the guy that everyone hates unless he's on your team. If he sparks his team and the team feeds off of it, then I'm fine. Not a big fan of Servino. I feel as if Sevy's going to get better with each start. Gives up way too many early runs. Yeah, Quintana, right? Early on, he had too high of a pitch count, but got it back under control. Severino's been worth every penny the Mets paid him, right? And I even talked when I did a post game with Rob and CP. I even talked about I thought the Mets overpaid for Severino. I really did. And right here, this comment: he has been worth every penny that the Mets have paid him. Absolutely. Quintana was huge last night. Yep. Yep, Peter. Well, Stanley. He only made 6 pitches. He gave up a single. What was it? It was a single, a strikeout, and a double play. Yep. And that double play, guys, I thought Lindor was going to catch the ball, honestly. And he let it hop in front of him, and he took it to the bag himself. Best not to think of it that way, then. Better to think of how much better Verlander or Scherzer would be at this very moment. They wouldn't be better. Hey, welcome home, Mrs. PAS. Hope you had a great trip. So don't talk to me like you know me. The New York Mets. I make her sound like a horrible person. That's not right. The New York Mets moving forward, upward, and onward to the World Series. Whoa, Charles, easy. Easy. Oh, Winker was kicked in the head. Thank you, Frank. I did not see that. And that's like somebody else brought up. I don't know if you guys saw CP. CP did an afternoon stream today. And the guest, I wasn't too familiar with the guest he had on. He said that Alonso foul ball should have been called fan interference. I didn't think so. But did I miss something from that? Thanks for joining us tonight on the live stream broadcast talking about the Mets playoffs. Yeah, just an impromptu stream, guys. Do we think Peterson is available tomorrow? He only threw 8 pitches last night. Well, no, it was his throw day anyway. So I think they'll leave him. No, because Mania will go game if. Well, they'll definitely have to play Tuesday. I think it'll be Mania. I think they'll save Peterson. I don't know. Maybe they use Peterson out of the pen this series. Hit the like button and subscribe. Yeah, I didn't see it either, but I know Senga's on it because we know you got the game 1 start. Yeah, copyright material. Good night, John. Got a cold one from your new. Oh, good night, John. Get a cold one from your new fridge, which will always be known as the polar bear. The polar bear refrigerator. How many players are on the taxi roster? You're only allowed to call up guys that are on your 40-man roster. So what is that? 14? There's 14 guys available. Mike Fatsessa is a joke. Oh, he slammed his helmet because he was hit in the head? I thought he slammed his helmet because he scored the run. Don't care. Lost a lot of respect for Francesa during the last years of the Mike and the Mad Dog show. I don't, but I listened to Mike and the Mad Dog when they were on the Fan. Never even called though. I was always on an overnight caller. Yep, always listened. Loved it. Loved sports radio when it came out. I know Beatty's on the taxi squad. Who else is? Yeah, let's look. Let's look up the 40-man roster here for the Mets. Roster. Is this the 40-man though? 1, 2, 3. No, this is not the 40-man. So let's go to Mets.com and see who the 40-man roster is. There we go. 40-man roster. All right, Blackburn. Blackburn could still be called up if he's healthy, but I think he's out till next year, I think. Brazoban, Buto, Diaz, Matt Gage. Not sure who that is. Reed Garrett, Grant Hartwig, Max Kranick. He didn't. I don't think he saw any time this. He was on the roster for this series. Joey Lucchesi, Mania, Maton, McGill, Nunez, Ors, Ottavino, Peterson. Yikes! Oh, a lot of these guys are injured. Beatty's on the 40-man roster. McNeil. Charles, take care, buddy. Hopefully we see you tomorrow. Elgood says Mrs. PAS is a saint for putting up with you. A little fist pump in the air. Kevin says, I said it last night in the seventh inning. Mets are late inning winners. Hey, John, should we? Oh, absolutely, James. Absolutely. I even told CP I am glad. I am so glad I've never been more wrong about a player on this team. Nope, I didn't have it scheduled. Steve Summers. I don't know. Is Steve? Does anybody know if Steve Summers is still on the fan? I remember when I started listening. I remember Summers was overnight. The schmooze. Me here, you there. Yep, Summer the Smooze is happy. Sometimes he does impromptu appearances on the fan. I respect my PAS family. Everyone stay well. I think Baseball Reference has the 40-man roster. No, the Mets had it. DJ Stewart's still on the roster. Yes, Senga starting was the only option. If we're going to carry him, it would be unfair to put him in any other situation. Steve Summers, Iron Eagle, before he went to CBS. Jody McDonald. Yes, I remember Jody McDonald. Then they moved. Didn't they move Jody? It was Jody, and what was the? They changed his time slot. Thank God Festa isn't on the 40-man roster. What a crime that Keith and Ron didn't call a game. Better yet, Harry Rose would have been fantastic. What do you mean, Frank? If you're not on Twitter or X, man, you got to get over there. Harry Rose is doing the games on the radio. Phillies are a great team, but this Mets team has magic. Steve makes periodic appearances on the fan. I miss the schmooze. Yep. No, Steve retired. Steve was probably still the host when Mike and the Mad Dog were still together. I wish we got a Gary Cohen call for the Pete shot. Mets took 3 or 4. Yep. And the Phillies only won 7 out of 16. So the Mets won 6 games against the Phillies this year. So unbelievable, guys. So, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you all so much for hanging out in this little impromptu stream. I did not make an announcement. I just put up a poll asking if you guys would be interested. Not sure if you guys saw it. So great stuff, guys. We will be live tomorrow at 4 o'clock for game one of Mets and Phillies. So make sure you have your notifications turned on for that. And we will get the NLDS underway. And we will see everybody tomorrow afternoon. Have a great night, everyone.